Um, Usually when you look at an industry sales chart, it makes logical sense. More games sold equals more consoles sold.
Right. Normally.
But looking at the data for today, April 5, 2026, the math is just completely broken. I mean, software revenue is sitting utterly flat year over year at $4.016 billion.
Yeah. Completely flat.
Yet somehow hardware spending has surged by 22%.
It's just a massive anomaly. And that 22% surge is, well, it's being driven entirely by a single piece of tech, the Nintendo Switch 2.
Unbelievable.
It really is. I mean, it's pacing an astonishing 45% ahead of the original console's historic trajectory.
Which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive today for you all. We're cracking open a massive stack of research on the top 25 games of Q2 to figure out what this data dump actually means.
Because it's not just a fluke.
Right. Our mission here is to uncover how this bizarre economic landscape reveals a fundamental rewiring of player psychology, interactive design, and corporate strategy. So let's unpack this hardware boom.
Let's do it.
Because it isn't just about the Switch 2 having better graphics, is it? It's tied to massive AAA franchises, actively pivoting away from combat. How does stripping away action actually sell a $300 piece of hardware?
Well, it comes down to habituation versus adrenaline. Historically, system sellers relied on high-stakes action.
Sure.
But publishers realized that to move hardware at this unprecedented rate, they can't just rely on the Twitch reflex crowd anymore. They need the console to feel like a low-friction daily habit for a much wider demographic.
A daily habit.
Exactly. So they lower the combat friction.
Which totally explains Pokemon Pokopia. I mean, they completely ditched traditional turn-based battles.
Yeah, entirely gone.
Instead, you play as a Ditto, building this, cozy life sim utopia from scratch.
Mm.
Or, look at Mario Kart World disrupting its own formula to become an open-world racer, which just moved 14.03 million copies, by the way.
It's wild.
It's like an action movie director suddenly making a blockbuster rom-com. Is prioritizing mental wellness and lower stress environments the new secret weapon for driving massive hardware adoption?
I think so. It's like turning a high-speed roller coaster into a sprawling public park. You might ride a coaster once a year, but you'll walk through the park every single day.
Oh, wow. That's a great way to put it.
They're aging up with their legacy audience while providing a low-stress refuge.
But over in the PC multiplayer space, publishers are going in the exact opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
The Battle Royale is effectively dead, replaced entirely by extraction shooters like Marathon and ARC Raiders.
Right, because that PC audience is craving asymmetric tension. In an extraction shooter, players drop in with totally different gear and goals, creating this inherent unfair anxiety.
Which sounds exhausting.
It is. But you pair that with legacy tactical games like Counter-Strike 2, which is still pulling 762,290 concurrent players, and you see the power of sunk cost retention.
Wait, sunk cost retention, like financial investment.
Financial and temporal. It's the idea that players have invested thousands of hours learning tactical maps or hundreds of dollars into digital skins.
Yeah.
The psychological cost of leaving the game is just too high. These games become gravitational black holes that you simply cannot escape.
Okay, well, I have to throw a massive wrench into this idea that PC gamers only want to live in a high-stakes stress factory.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because sitting right next to those massive shooters on the charts is Bongo Cat.
Oh, Bongo Cat, right.
It's a free, viral idle game with 180,000 concurrent players, and all it does is put a cartoon cat on your screen that mimics your real-world keyboard and mouse clicks. It's completely frictionless.
It really is.
So are we seeing a psychological split where players either demand exhausting competitive ecosystems or, entirely frictionless gamified productivity?
It's not a contradiction, actually. It's a symptom of cognitive overload. The market has fractured based on a player's mental bandwidth. You either have the capacity for extreme, punishing focus, or you have zero capacity left, and you just want a game to validate your physical presence at your desk with zero cognitive tax.
Which creates a fascinating void in the middle of the market.
Yeah.
And it looks like independent developers are stepping in and weaponizing that exact psychological stress.
Oh, absolutely. The indie mechanical renaissance.
Exactly. Take a mid-market climbing game like Cairn. There is no traditional stamina bar.
Right. No UI to save you.
Nope. Instead, you have to rely entirely on diegetic cues, meaning you have to watch the physical character model for signs of failure, like the climber's legs literally trembling on the rock face.
And we're seeing that physical stress translated into social stress, too. Like, look at Hermit and Pig, where a conversational misstep with an NPC inflicts literal cringe damage.
Yes. Or Esoteric Ebb, where your D&D stats act as arguing voices in your head. It feels exactly like having a slightly unhinged tabletop dungeon master actively narrating your own insecurities.
Yeah, it's intense.
But why are independent developers so successfully redefining failure states to include our actual social anxieties?
Well, because AAA studios simply cannot afford the risk of making you fail via social awkwardness. They need massive, frictionless appeal.
Oh, that makes sense.
But mid-market developers know you are hungry for new ways to feel engaged. By discarding health bars and replacing them with diegetic anxiety or cringe damage, they aren't testing your finger speed anymore.
They're simulating your internal stress.
Exactly. They are actively simulating your real psychological state.
So to summarize the takeaway for you all listening, we're not just moving away from the old days of console tribalism.
No, not at all.
We've entered an era of ubiquitous psychological engagement. The industry has entirely shifted.
Precisely. The game isn't just happening on the screen anymore. The real platform is your own nervous system.
Which leaves you with something pretty wild to consider. With games seamlessly integrating into our desktop productivity through things like idle clickers and flawlessly simulating our real-world social anxieties through cringe damage. At what point does the line between playing a game and managing our real-world psychology disappear entirely? Something for you to ponder before you log on next.